Okay, so let's look at this question. John bought 4 more books than files. A book cost $13 and a file costs $5. If he paid $116 more for the books than the files, how many books did John buy? All right. So this question, it looks pretty similar to the other quantity and value concept that we have learned, the one where we draw the QV table. Now, however, there's a small difference in this question is that in the first sentence, they do not actually give you things like a fraction. They did not say John bought 4/5 as much books as files, or neither did they give you a ratio. Okay, they didn't say John bought 4 books to files in a ratio of 4:1. Okay, so when they do not give you a proportion like this, a proportion comparison like this, in fact, this time they give you an actual difference of 4 more books than files. Okay, this time they give you a difference, not a proportion. So when they give you a difference like that, all right, a good method to use would be the quantity and value model. So I hope you can tell this is still on quantity and value concept because quantity will be the number of books and number of files, whereas the values are the cost, the money. Okay, those are the values. So we can use QV model method for this, all right, because we are given the difference. So let's begin by drawing a quantity model. So what is the quantity model in this case? Of course, in this case would be the first sentence because that is a quantity comparison. 4 more books than files. So just a very simple model like this. Now, and if you look on, read back question, you are given another difference as well. If he paid $116 more for the books than the files. Okay, so there's another difference here. Now, but of course, we don't know how many books and how many files must create this difference, right? Okay, so we call that the value. Now, of course, if you want to be clearer, if you want to be able to remember as compared to the QV table, you can call this total value model. Okay, this might be a clearer word, total value model. Okay, so for looking at $116 more for the books than the files, of course, the files have to draw shorter, books draw longer. So this is your $116 difference. I'm going to write it up here, not inside, because we might need to do something to the model later. Okay? Right, okay. So now, right now, I see 2 types of difference here. Okay, I finished recording my data as of now. So now looking at the models, I have a quantity difference as well as a total value difference. Now, in this case, what we will choose to do is to get rid of this extra quantity first. Okay, if you're asking me why not get rid of the extra $116, okay, if I get rid of extra quantity simply because it's easier to convert to a value later on rather than doing the other way around. Okay, so we're going to get rid of the extra 4 books. So you shall see like what we do later. So let's just lightly shade it away. Okay. Now, since we have removed the extra 4 books from the quantity side, okay, think about it. Is it fair if I do not do any shading off from the right-hand side model? Okay, so I hope you know it's not fair, yeah? Because if I remove 4 books from here, obviously the 4 books value have to disappear from this side as well, from the books model, from the value model. Okay, so that's exactly what we wish to do now. So we need to find the value of those 4 books first, the cost of the 4 books. A book is $13, so 13 times 4, which will be $52. Okay, so let's prepare to shade off $52 from the books model here. Now, of course, when you shade 52, it will be part of this 116, right? Okay, but don't worry. So just cut it off. So get rid of the extra value of the 4 books, not 5. There's a typo error here. Okay, so remove away. So 52, you cut somewhere like that, or can be a bit smaller, also can. Okay, then just write down 52, and then of course you shade it off. Please shade it. All right. Now, looking at this model, initially just now our difference originally was $116. correct? Between the books and files, the original difference was 116. However, now that I've shaded off $52, did my value difference expand or did it shrink? That means did it get bigger or did it get smaller? All right, so for those of you who can't tell, use your fingers to cover away your shaded part. I hope you will notice that the new difference now is only this white color portion. That means your difference have shrunk from a big 116, it shrink until this much only. So this is your new total difference in value. And of course, we are able to calculate that out. So new total difference, we call it TD for short. 116, of course, you minus away the 52. Okay, so your new total difference is now only $64. That small part here. Now, what do we do next? So back to the quantity model. Remember now that we have gotten rid of these 4 extra rows. What happened to my quantity now? Okay, so can you see my quantity is now the same, right? Now my quantity is same, these 2 bars. So if the quantity is the same, and you know that these equal quantities together contributes to a new total difference of $64, this is where I can apply my grouping concept. So since now we have removed the extra 4 books, equal number of B and F, which means apply grouping. Now, for those of you who tell me, say, oh, can we do $64 divide by 2? Simply because you see 2 bars, right? Like 2 bars equal size. Now, if you tell me divide by 2, then you are also telling me, say that this and this is the same value. You're telling me this bar and this bar has the same value. Think about it. Should that be true? Okay, it shouldn't, yeah, because remember, a book is so much more expensive. Only the quantity is now the same. It does not mean that the values, the cost added up is the same. Okay, so do take note of this. So that's why dividing by 2 is definitely incorrect. All right, which is why we apply the grouping concept. So in our one group, what do I throw into one group? Same, right? Now same number of books and same number of files. Of course, one book, one file. Because that is the low. Some of you might be wondering, why do I put 1? Why 1? Why not 2? I can have 2 books, 2 files, 3 books, 3 files, also same, right? Yeah, you're not wrong, but we always choose the smallest possible value that can be applied in one group. In this case, one book, one file, it also fulfills the condition of equal number of books and files. Okay, I hope that clears your doubts. So now, of course, one group is not enough to contribute to this difference. So there must be many more groups. So dot, 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 dot. All these groups contributes to a new total difference of $64 now. Okay, it's important to write this word down, total diff. Because if you just write $64, most likely your next few steps will be wrong. Okay, because you all might understand wrongly. So what do we do next? So now I'm given total difference. Of course, in one group, I must find difference in one group. So this is what I mean by writing these words down so that you will remember, most likely will remember to write difference in one group. Okay, not total in one group. So difference per group, calculate the difference in cost, which is $8. One group's difference is $8, so there must be many more groups to get a difference of $64. So that's my next step, number of groups, which is simply $64 divided by $8. Okay, so that means I have 8 of these groups now. Now read back the question. Every time you get a group 3, just like the QV table question, every time you get number of groups, read back how many books did he buy. So we want the number of books, right? Ask yourself for one group. In one group, how many books do you see? Of course, I see one book in one group. But since I know there are 8 groups, I know I have to do 8 times 1. This step must write down. Okay, you cannot just stop here. You just stop here, it's only getting the number of groups. All right, so you have to show the 8 times 1. Now, also check back the model. Remember just now, we have gotten rid of the extra 4 books, right? So now you have to add it back to include in the total books that John bought originally.